Detective Mason Rourke, Cold Case Division. You don't get used to listening to people die, you get better at pretending you did. The first time I heard the audio, I played it alone in my office with the blinds shut. No coffee, no notepad. I wanted nothing between me and the truth. It started like a typical teenage recording, muffled movement, nervous laughter, the static hiss of a phone trapped in someone's pocket. You could hear wind, then the hollow thump of car doors. A girl's voice, Alyssa Reed, teasing. A boy's voice, Ethan Klein, trying to sound braver than he was. I'd heard those same tones in dozens of cases, but then it changed. A scrape of metal against paint. Silence that wasn't empty, but listening. And then the line that turned my stomach cold even after 16 years on the force. Got you! That last whisper didn't come from the man in the woods. It came from inside the car. When the recording ended, I sat there for a long time, letting the dead air play until the device clicked off. Then I did what you always do after tragedy. I went looking for patterns. The tally tree was still standing when we found it, even though the area had been searched twice already. That fact alone told me someone didn't want it found too early. The heart carved into the bark wasn't sloppy teenage graffiti. It wasn't a couple's initials or a date. It was deliberate. A large heart, deeply cut as if whoever made it used a blade and went over the same lines again and again, pressing hard enough to peel the bark like skin. Inside the heart, tally marks. They weren't random scratches. They were grouped in fives like prison wall marks. I counted them myself, 37. 37 was already a number that didn't belong out there. Too many for a teen prank, too many for a love story, too many for coincidence. But what made it worse was the age of the marks. Some were darker, fresh, sharp. Some were weathered and pale, half-healed, as if the tree had tried to grow over them and couldn't. This wasn't a single event. This was a record, a timeline. At the base of the tree were personal items that didn't belong together. Not all were Ethan's or Alyssa's. We found a pink braided bracelet, a high school lanyard from a neighboring county, a cracked phone case with glitter and a cartoon cat sticker, a class ring with the year scratched off, and a keychain that made my throat tighten. Pine Ridge Work Detail, Unit 4. That was the missing inmate's work crew. When I showed the evidence to the sheriff, he tried to dismiss it. You think the escapee dropped it, he said. No, I told him. I think someone wanted us to think that. The sheriff didn't like that answer. Sheriffs rarely do. Because it meant this case wasn't clean. And clean cases are the only ones anyone gets promoted on. The helpful stranger. Witness statements were thin. Nobody wanted to admit they'd been near Lover's Lane that night, but teens talk. They always do. Eventually I got one, an 18-year-old boy named Tate Henson. Face pale as paper, hands shaking like he'd been outside too long in winter. He came in with his father, wouldn't meet my eyes, and asked if the room was recording. I told him yes. He swallowed hard and said the words I already suspected I'd hear. I saw a guy out there earlier, he said, by the ridge. What kind of guy? I asked. He hesitated. Normal, like a working man. Tate said he and his girlfriend had been parked near the overlook around 8:30 before Ethan and Alyssa arrived. They'd heard about the escaped inmate on the radio, got spooked, and decided to leave. But when they started the car, someone approached them from the woods. A man in a cap and jacket, calm voice, friendly smile, the helpful stranger. Tate remembered the weirdest detail. He didn't ask if we were okay, Tate said. He asked if we were alone. My pen stopped moving. That's what he said, I asked. Tate nodded. Yeah, like it mattered. Did you see his hands? I asked. Tate shook his head. No, but his sleeve moved funny, like something heavy was attached. That was the line that stuck with me, not the hook story. not the inmate, the sleeve. The phone itself was found deep in the brush about a quarter mile from the overlook, screen shattered, edges chewed by dirt and rock. It should have been smashed beyond retrieval. But technology is stubborn. Sometimes so are ghosts. We pulled what we could. The accidental recording was almost 72 minutes long. Most of it was noise, wind, footsteps, breathing. But there were pieces, scrapes, whispers, words, and one section, just 11 seconds, that I made the lab clean up so much we practically bled the audio dry. A male voice, not Ethan, not the woodsman, another one low, right beside the microphone. Don't turn around, and it was said gently and almost kindly, like a warning, like a promise. And then the girl, Alyssa, whispered, "Ethan, who's driving?" I played that clip 20 times and felt myself go colder each time because I knew what it meant. It meant there were 3 men involved, or 1 man, and someone who didn't leave footprints. Either way, it meant Ethan and Alyssa were never going to make it out, not even if the car started. Pine Ridge, the escape story didn't sit right with me. Pine Ridge work detail inmates aren't exactly ninjas. They don't just vanish into the woods cleanly unless someone helps them. When I pulled Pine Ridge paperwork, a guard who normally worked Unit 4 had mysteriously swapped shifts that night. The official reason: stomach illness. I went to interview him. He refused to let me in his home, talk to me through the screen door, wouldn't stop glancing behind him like someone was listening from the hall. I asked him one question: "Did you see the hook?" His jaw tightened. Then he said very quietly, "That ain't what you need to worry about." I leaned closer. "What should I worry about?" I asked. He swallowed and said something that still raises the hair on my neck when I think about it. 2 hooks, 1 distracts, 1 collects. Then he shut the door in my face. The old case. That night I didn't go home. I dug old files, missing persons, runaways, unidentified remains. You'd be amazed how many disappearances get labeled voluntary when nobody wants to spend money searching. I found 3 cases that made my stomach knot. All different years, all different couples. But the same location, Hawthorne Ridge. And in the evidence notes of one case from 1998, I saw a single sentence that hit like a hammer: car door handle recovered, hook-shaped metal attached. Nobody had followed up, nobody had connected them, because legends don't fit neatly in paperwork. But the tallies did. 37, I flipped through missing persons reports until my eyes burned. And when I counted them, 36 missing persons tied to that ridge since 1988. Ethan and Alyssa would have made 37. My hands went numb. That tree wasn't just a threat. It was a scoreboard, the message under my wiper. At 3:19 a.m., I finally stepped outside the building to breathe air that didn't smell like dust and old coffee. My car sat alone in the lot, and something white was tucked under the windshield wiper. A folded piece of paper. My first thought was parking enforcement. Then I saw the shape drawn on the front, a heart. Inside it, 5 tally marks, just 1 group, fresh ink. I unfolded it with a pen, not my fingers. Inside, there were only 4 words, written in calm block letters. "Stop counting. You're next." I stood there staring at it, the cold soaking through my shoes, and then I heard it. Not from the woods, not from the ridge, from somewhere close, the faint scraping sound of metal dragging lightly along asphalt, slow, patient, circling the lot. I didn't move. I didn't turn around, because suddenly I understood the warning from the phone. Don't turn around. And in that moment, for the first time in my career, I wasn't investigating the Hookman. I was being investigated by him. Detective Mason Rourke, Cold Case Division.